And now moving on to our next story, we're talking about the Captain Marvel trailer. But the second one, because a new one has come out, didn't spoil as much as Dragon Ball Super Broly's trailer. You know what it is? I'll admit though, I wish they didn't talk about the Skrulls because I thought it was a nice little in thing. But at the same time, the first one was really more of a teaser than it was a trailer. So you do have to let people know what the hell's going on in your movie. So,
right, yeah.
Because the thing with the Skrulls are, we knew they were going to be in the movie, but it was a fun little thing where it was like, is this something that is going to be, isn't really going to be talked about until the film? But again, trailers exist, and the Skrulls are going to be such a huge part of the movie, you kind of have to know who the bad guys are before going to a movie. Granted, I hope that Skrulls are shown as the villains in the first, 5 minutes, because it would suck if the movie does try to keep them a secret and makes them seem like a shady government organization until it's found out they're the Skrulls.
Did you mean Hydra?
Yeah, right? No, it would be frustrating if it was like, oh, well, they weren't Hydra yet. Because people don't know that Hydra... No, people don't know that Hydra exists yet. This is in the 90s.
Right, yeah.
So they don't know that Hydra exists just yet in the MCU canon. But, still... You see where I'm coming from, though, right? I hope that this campaign isn't one that's there just to make it like, oh, hey, so, well, we have to show them what's going on in the movie. It's like, but it takes them 30 minutes to find out who Skrulls are. Yeah, but they gotta know. It's like, well, then if it takes that long, because I'm sure you've seen this too, Tristan. I hate when movies do that. When a trailer, or even TV shows, when a trailer reveals something that the show or movie is trying to build up to, and it's like, really? Are you serious right now? So, I hope it takes a while to actually showcase that. But what did you think about the trailer? Before I drone on, what did you think about the second trailer? Do you think it was better than the first one? What do you think?
I thought it was cool.
Are you more hyped to see it than you were before?
Yeah, I think so. Well, that's the thing for me that makes this a little awkward. I know next to nothing about Captain Marvel.
That's fine. Neither do I either, because there's a few different Captain Marvels. There's the original male Captain Marvel, or Marvel, and then there's Captain Marvel, which, this version of Captain Marvel, which I always forget her name, because I know Carol Danvers, there we go. Because, because Brie Larson, I believe, is the actual... Yeah, Brie Larson is the actress that plays her, but Carol Danvers. And then there's the newest Captain Marvel, who is a teenage... I believe she's Pakistani, and a teenage girl, and she actually looked up to Carol Danvers and was like, oh my god, Captain Marvel, she's amazing! And then she gets bestowed the powers of Captain Marvel.
Right.
And people love that run of Captain Marvel. I think that's the one where people, even I think people that are like, oh, diversity in comics, I think they've even been like, but that's a good one. Because I feel like, because a lot of people have enjoyed that run of Captain Marvel. But of course, you kind of have to build up to her. So, in this case, we have Carol Danvers. Even though she is the protagonist of this film, I believe that Jude Law is playing the original Marvel.
Right.
Or, Marvel. It is Jude Law. Am I wrong? I don't think I'm wrong. There we go, Jude Law. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's playing Marvel. Either way, though, the whole point of this movie is really to set up the fact that there is a quote-unquote... Did you sneeze, Tristan?
Sorry.
Are you a Skrull?
Oh my god.
Tristan never sneezes in the podcast.
My cover.
God damn it, Tristan!
Well, hey, I mean, you said you wanted it to happen quickly, so I figured, well, I'd drop the facade and not have you learn 30 minutes into the podcast. I'm the bad guy.
All right. Frank, I would like to say this. Our ratings are going to increase exponentially. Thank you for being a Skrull. Oh, but when you don't have video, you dick. Anyway, Skrulls are green and scaly, and you are an asshole. Anyway, so, saves on the budget. Yeah, you're so powerful. No, could you imagine you're like, Matt, I'm kidding, I'm not a Skrull. And Patchy, your cat, looks up to you and goes, well, this is rather awkward. So, anyway. But the point of this movie is to set up a secret war and different Skrull invasion. Different. I took a different comic book arc, but seriously though, Skrull invasion, and I assume that will tie into post Thanos shenanigans.
Right.
So, because they have to set up something after Thanos, and they have to set up something big, because Thanos is so big that I'm even worried about, will people stop watching? Not everyone, but will some people stop watching after Thanos? And because they feel like the story's been concluded, you know? Because we've had these movies for 10 years, and it's an expanded universe, really expansive universe. So, they have to set up something big, and I think having the Skrulls invade, yes, it's going to seem like her character, Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, is going to take out the Skrulls. There's going to probably be some remnants. And frankly, there's a good chance we're going to find out that some of our favorite heroes, if not, probably not in Infinity War Part 2 until like an after credit scene, but we might find out that some of our favorite heroes have been Skrulls all along. So,
oh god. Are we going to have a Hail Hydra moment?
Kind of.
God damn it.
Yeah, because that's how it happened in the comics. The only difference is that the character in the comics isn't in the MCU. However, she is in a Marvel Netflix show.
Well then.
Well, because in the comics, it was Elektra. Elektra died, as she is wont to do in the comics. And Elektra died, and when she died, I forgot. I always forget who it was. And guys, tell me down below if you remember. I always forget who it was. If it was Captain America calling in Tony Stark, or who called in Tony Stark. If it was even Tony, it might have been Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, because you know the movies might not have worked out well, but the comics have always done well. Even when Marvel took them out, it was still like people were like, "Come on, these are good comics. We like them." So someone was called in who was an expert, and it was like, "Oh my God. What did those..." Because I think it was Elektra being killed by the Hand. And it was like, oh my God, what did they do to her body? And it was like, no, Tony, she was just stabbed. She wasn't poisoned or anything. Then why the hell does she look like that? And then it showed a Skrull, before we knew that they were Skrulls, in Elektra's outfit.
Right.
So a Skrull can go so undercover, it doesn't even know it's a Skrull.
Right.
So some Skrulls are like, oh yeah, no, I'm totally doing this for the mission. We're amazing. We're essentially kind of like doing a terraforming of Earth.
Right.
But others are like, no, I'm Matt Marrero. Why? And it's like, oh God. No, so some Skrulls have worked with the good guys because they're like, look, as far as I know, I'm me.
Right.
So it'll be a very interesting turn of events. Either way, this movie is meant to set all that up. I do think that in the teaser it was hilarious how Captain Marvel punched an old lady, punched a grandma, and now we see the grandma hiss and be like, so, yeah.
This is happening. Yeah. I think my favorite bit is just getting to see young Nick Fury.
Yes, which I believe Samuel L. Jackson.
Scene in the trailer where he's just petting a cat, and she's like, come on, let's go. Like, they're going somewhere and walking somewhere. He's like, all right, I'll be back later. And then he just gets up and walks off. I'm like, wow, this is Nick Fury before he lost both sense of, hope and joy in the world.
So, I'm betting $5. Want to bet me $5? $5 right now on the table. I'm not putting it on the table right now, but $5 on the table. That cat is a Skrull. I'm not even kidding.
Oh my gosh, I knew you were going to say that.
I'm not even kidding. $5. That cat's a Skrull.
I know you're not kidding. That part.
So my take on this is I feel weird about I feel weird about Brie Larson's take on Captain Marvel. Not overall. I think this trailer got to show her off more, but I think my only issue is the, how do I explain this? So in trailers, usually there are lines that are dubbed over just for a trailer that may never even appear in the movie or may actually appear differently. In the trailer for Infinity War, there was a whole lineup of them with Hulk. Like, they were all like running towards the bad guys. Do you remember that shot?
I think so, yeah.
That didn't happen in the movie.
Right.
Same thing with the shot of them in Civil War, where they were all going at each other, Spider-Man was digitally removed.
Right.
Until we saw him later.
Right.
So, when it comes to...
Smart on that part.
Yeah, smart, of course. And also because the character was completely CGI.
Right.
Which was interesting. Yes, you had someone doing motion capture, but apparently the entire suit was CG. I didn't know that.
Right.
Which was like, what the fuck? So they could just digitally remove him. Anyway, point though is that in this case, yeah, I just feel like the way that she dubbed it over, maybe it was rushed, I don't know. It just sounded very monotone. But any scene with her was good. So I trust her, and I think that she's a great enough actress to take on this role for the film itself. Like seeing her on camera, having her emote, things like that. Because I'm very happy about this, because we actually see her be a human being. Granted, she might not actually be a human being, but it seems like she had a life on Earth. So she might have been human at some point.
Right.
Is she a Skrull?
Well, it almost kind of felt to me like maybe she was from Earth, but then, I don't know, like got alien blood transfused into her, and that's how she gets these powers, but at least from what I think we talked about this before, like, the powers of Captain Marvel are kind of like handed down, aren't they?
Yeah, and assuming that Jude Law's character is the original Marvel, he probably passed it down to her in flashbacks.
Right, okay.
Because it seems to be, this movie seems to be jumping between the war in space and the war on Earth.
Right, yeah. Because I'm kind of like, I'm in the dark about anything that goes on in here, so I'm kind of like, what is going on?
Yeah.
I was watching this trailer and be like, her powers are cool and her suit looks cool. Okay, I'm in.
Remember that...
in theory. So, yeah.
Not only am I in the dark as well, but also, you know how Marvel movies do take their own liberties, so really, we don't even know what they're going with. Like, we assume that this is what they're going with, but they could just completely flip it on its head, you know?
Right, yeah.
So I'm under the assumption that this is what they're going with. That you know, they're because I think that with the way Deadpool, with how good it did its origin story in its movie, I think maybe they're trying to go for something like that as well, where yes, it's technically an origin movie because it's, you know, even though she's on Earth, it's still her origin because it's her first movie. They don't want to make it seem like, oh, we're just going to focus on the fight in space, or we're just going to focus, like they want to jump in between. Also, Arrow did that as well for the TV show, because they really want to have this air of, hey, look, shit's actually going on, don't think that this is just, you know, something that can be skipped. Yeah, some prequel in a way. No, this is what's going on, quote unquote, right now, despite the fact that it's set in the 90s. It's what's going on right now. And you can see in flashbacks who she was, what she did, and how she obtained these powers. And I think that's a good way to go about the film.
Yeah.
You know, because I would hate, even though it would be really cool to see her in a space fight, don't get me wrong, it would suck to see her more on space than on Earth, and then to have her triumphantly come to Earth just to beat up Thanos. And then be like, and by the way, I think I'm leaving. Take care, and then fly, you know? Like, so, yes, she probably will take down Thanos single-handedly, most likely. But, at the same... She's that powerful. I mean, she can fucking... You can see her. She can fly, she can shoot energy beams. Like, yes, other characters exist, but many of them are like...
other characters do that, though, man.
Not really, though. Like, Iron Man only can produce what science can produce.
Well, yeah, but I mean, flying and shooting energy beams, a lot of heroes do that. Super strength is, you know, been done, but, like... I'm saying on the scale of I can take down Thanos, you know.
But dude, no. But look at the movie. No, but look at Movieverse. Thor gets thunder.
Right.
That's still not like thunder. I mean, yes, it's Mjolnir's thunder, but like it's still thunder irregardless. Iron Man can only do what his science can allow him to do. Captain America is just on, like, you know, superroids, essentially. He's wonderful, and I love him, but he can't, like, throw an energy beam. He can block shit really good, and I think he does have a little bit of a healing factor. Who else? Obviously, well, Deadpool's Deadpool. Deadpool could probably take down Thanos.
Oh my god.
I mean, he would get Thanos so pissed off he'd kill himself. Cable could shoot beams, but again, Cable is also not canon as of yet. Neither is Deadpool to this MCU. Spider-Man can't shoot energy beams. Granted, his super strength is actually really tough, but he can't shoot energy beams. Like I said, Thor has thunder. Hawkeye doesn't have powers. Black Widow doesn't have powers. Doctor Strange knows magic, but even then, that's limited to how he can cast a spell.
Right.
And when it comes to the Guardians of the Galaxy, they just have guns. And they're really good at what they can do. But what I'm saying is, who right now in the MCU is comparable to a Dragon Ball Z character?
Okay, but yeah, that's what I mean. Like, their powers are so... Like, Captain Marvel's powers are more than what we've seen already.
But even then, we've seen her...
powers, but just on a much larger scale.
Right, but I'm just saying that being able to fly and have energy beams, and you might be like, but Thor can fly. Yeah, but he has to, like, do a wind-up toy thing first with his hammer. Yeah. Now, what I'm trying to get at here is, Tristan, is that when it comes to, like, a cosmic level type of hero, we haven't got that yet.
In that regard, Thor's a god, isn't he?
Yes, but...
Or he's a... No, he's a god, yeah.
He is a god, but at the same time, we still haven't... Like, Thor is the closest thing we've gotten, and even then, Thor was able to be beaten down because he did close combat,
right,
and he wasn't able to actually summon the full powers of the hammer.
And also, then again, Q-Hulk, puny god.
And I think that's another thing, too, right? Hulk has super strength.
He is more of the smarts, not the fifth.
Hulk has super strength, but if Thanos cold cocks him, which he's been known to, he's out.
Yeah, he did. He did knock him out.
So what I'm trying to get at here is, if Thanos is like, I'm going to knock you out, Captain Marvel flies away. And can hover. Hovering is actually very relevant. Because Thor can fly, but I don't think he can hover at this point in the story.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. So, and I know that might seem silly, but in terms of trying to evade Thanos' bullshit,
right,
having that power really helps.
In order to evade Thanos' bullshit.
Yeah. So, I'm just saying, Tristan, is that we haven't gotten characters like Sentry yet in the Marvel universe. We've gotten Doctor Strange, we've gotten Thor. Don't get me wrong. Technically, Star-Lord could have done some crazy shit if he kept those powers, but we haven't gotten anything like Captain Marvel just yet. And this opens the door to a lot of crazy shit like people with her moveset.
Right.
But we haven't gotten anything like that just yet, and that's where things get very interesting. Especially in this film itself.
I mean, yeah, it would make sense that, that's why she's basically the ace in the hole that Fury has kept hidden this entire time.
Yes. And yes, of course, that does, the smell is a little off on that one, I'll admit. But still, when it comes to her moveset, though, that's also a great reason why she's fighting a hidden army. Because she's so OP as hell that any character with her ability should be able to just punch anything really hard and the situation is solved. But if it's everyone, if anyone can become this and essentially stab her when she's not looking, that's a very interesting take, on to have in a film, like kind of like an espionage film, sort of a heist. Well, not heist, but like an espionage kind of thing. So either way, though, Tristan, did this make you more hyped? Are you less confused now that you've heard potentially some rumors and stuff like that? Potentially, what could be the case?
I mean, no, I'm looking forward to this. Like, I want to go see it when it comes out.
All right, so Tristan is sold, but what I want to know is, are you sold? Down below. Tell me, do you think that this trailer sold you on this idea, on this concept? Are you like, nah, not really. I might just, I'll see Infinity War Part 2, and then I'll see her in that, but I don't, or whatever they call the film. But I don't know if I'm interested in seeing this movie. Me personally, I'm interested. I was interested from the get-go, but the first trailer made me intrigued. This one made me a lot more interested. And you, on the other hand, Tristan, the first trailer interested you a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay. So both have left you satisfied.
Yeah.
All right.